That's Ball Creek done. Leaving now, next stop Helena. A mere 8.7 k's today, thank God. It'll give me a bit of a break, get some of the stiffness out of my muscles, and hopefully recharge some batteries. The student party that had arrived the previous afternoon, all 17 of them, had left very early. Their plan was to be back at the Hills Discovery Centre before 9 AM, and it should be said that for all my pretending to grumble about them, they were all extremely polite and a credit to their school. It was only my third full day on the walk, but already the track was showing me the various different types of terrain that was in front of me. In any given kilometre, I could be on a narrow rocky path or pushing my way through chest-high greenery, then, in the blink of an eye, burst out onto a vehicle track or fire break road. Every now and again I would find a convenient rock or tree stump on which I could rest the bag for a couple of minutes, ease my shoulders and enjoy the view. I'm halfway to Helena. You cannot believe the slope I have just had to climb. It probably won't show up on camera, but down there is a fucking mountain. It's taken me an age to get up it. At last, Helena campsite comes into view, and not before time. The weather is closing in, the mist is coming up the valley. It looks like it's going to pour with rain. Looks very nice, very modern, very chalet-like. See what it's like when we get down there. As the afternoon wore on, the weather cleared again, revealing beautiful views across the valley. When I arrived at Helena, I was alone, but as it got later, other hikers began to join me, and by late afternoon quite a crowd had gathered. Among the last to turn up, refreshingly, were a couple of gay guys, newly married I believe. With the shelter full, they were forced to pitch a tent. They were not very successful, however, because neither of them knew how to get it up. Helena campsite, settled in now, doing a bit of exploring. I have to say the toilets in these places have been much better than expected, and Helena is outstanding. They've even all had ample supplies of toilet roll in them. Surprise, surprise. The next day dawned beautifully, with the sun coming up over the far hills and mist in the valley. This by far was my favourite view on the track so far. 8:45, which is about an hour and a half earlier than I normally leave. I'm the last to leave, and when I say last to leave, there were 25 people here last night, scattered in tent sites all over the place and jammed into the bunkhouse. Okay, it's 9-point-something kilometres to the next one today, Wali. You can actually see the track. I don't know if you can on the camera. There's an orange scar running up through the hillside over there. That's about 3 k's away. And then it's up and over that hill and round the other side. So let's get going and see what the day brings. Weather's looking good. Now this is where it gets tricky. Having just come down this slope, blindly oblivious to where I'm going, one would think that you would carry on down the path over here, which is a perfectly acceptable path. And it isn't until you look very closely that you see this little path branching off to the left, and hidden in the trees is a woggle. That's why you got to keep your eyes open. It's so easy to go wrong. Just over 5 kilometres from the Helena shelter in a valley, I crossed the first substantial bridge on the track. This steel and concrete structure crosses the Helena River. You might remember this is the same river that is dammed by the Mundaring Weir that I crossed 2 days ago. I'm nearly at the Wali campsite. It's about a 1k to go. I know I'm not there alone tonight. Lorraine, who I met at Helena last night, is going to be joining me. Nice girl. Nurse from Fiona Stanley on long service. But from up here, if I flip it around, way off in the distance, you can see the dam that we crossed 2 days ago at Mundaring. Well, this is Wali. Not quite as posh as Helena, but comfortable nonetheless. Water tank, camping sites. Don't know where the toilet is yet, I haven't found that. And that is the view out the front. Not bad for a night stay. Decided to be a big boy tonight and set up my own tent the way it's supposed to be set up. It's the first time I've ever done that. So far, so good. Looks a little bit better than being jammed underneath and held up by string and rocks. Let's see how warm and cosy it is tonight. I eventually found the toilet quite a walk from the shelter, but the view from the throne made up for the hike. Lorraine was at the camp when I arrived, and later we were joined by another hiker, Julia. Lorraine is a nurse, Julia a naturopath, so if anything happened during the night in the medical department, I was well covered. The three of us spent the evening chatting around the campfire. It was a wonderful time, and it will undoubtedly be one of the best memories I take away from this journey. Okay, that's Wallage done. It's a late start. I don't know what the time is. The girls left hours ago. I've been sitting here watching birds, beautiful, beautiful little fairy wrens, and the little bright blue ones. They're gorgeous. It's a leisurely, just under 9k walk to Barrican today. The map assures me that there aren't much in the way of hills, so it should be a fairly easy walk. For the first full day today, I'm going to be walking with the solar panel on my back in a desperate need to get some charge into some batteries. I had to sleep without the CPAP last night because I simply didn't have the charge to do it. Thankfully it was successful. I slept okay. Should be at Barrican early afternoon. I'll get the solar panel out on the table and hopefully catch some sun rays this afternoon, because it won't get much in the way of sun while I'm walking because of the canopy cover. Gonna have to use a little bit of psychology here. It's the hills that kills. This one's 900 meters long. A constant slow ascent that just drains the energy. And the backpack is so heavy. So I've decided from now on that I'm going to name the backpack. And I remember 6-8 months ago wandering around various shopping centres with my granddaughter Bella on my back or in my arms, and how after 20 minutes of carrying her she would be so heavy that I'd be busting to put her down, but I just didn't want to. The longer I held on to Bella, the better it was. No matter how my arm ached, my shoulder ached or my back ached, I wasn't putting her down. So from now on, I'm going to call the backpack Bella. Bella the backpack. That way, I don't want ever to put her down. We're approaching Barrican. It's only a couple hundred meters away. And we have on the track some emus up ahead. They're pretty skittish and they disappear pretty fast. I've been hearing rustling in the bush for the last 10 minutes or so. That's the turn off to the campsite. And then up ahead there, through the trees, we can see the shelter. You can see a backpack on the table there. Hopefully it's just either Lorraine or Julia stopping for lunch. I'd love to have a hut of my own. Oh, we've got a campfire going over here. We'll see in a minute when we get there. Morning. It's about 7 AM. I've just got up. Last half of the night was very cold. The sun is just peeking its way through the trees over there. That's Barrican campsite down there. And over here we've got the moon, a nearly full moon, waning, just setting down through the trees over there. That was my campsite for the night. When I got here, there was somebody here. He was here to stay. Matt. A quiet man. Didn't have much to say for himself. Didn't appear to want any company. And towards the end of the day, opened up a bit and appears to have an awful lot of worldly troubles. So we kept our distance. He slept in the hut. I slept in the tent. I'll cook some breakfast now. I've got a problem. I've just done a food audit and I'm a day's rations short. It's my own fault. I should have thought about it. When I initially packed the bag, this leg of the journey till the meeting point with Jill was supposed to be 8 days long. That was with a double hut. When it became obvious a week before I started that I simply wasn't fit enough to do a double hut, that leg extended out to 9 days and I didn't pack an extra day's rations. Now it's not all that bad because at the beginning I didn't actually feel like eating much and I didn't eat some of the rations I had, so I got some of those. And of course on the last day I packed a full day's rations for what effectively would be a half day's walk. What it does mean is I don't get a meal tonight. My main dinner will be soup and some chocolate bars. It's not ideal, but I'll manage. Okay, I'm about ready. It's just gone 9 o'clock. I've breakfasted, packed up. Best part of an hour and a half. Normal sort of time. Takes a while. I've just got to send my message to the spies in the sky. There we go, it's off. It will be in a minute. Today we're heading for Mount Dale, just up the valley, over the hill. It's just under 12 k's away. Before I go, I didn't sign the logbook last night. I must remember to do that. I've just seen in the logbook that Lorraine has left me a message. Rambling Rob, hope you enjoyed the walk. Stay safe and enjoy. Isn't that cute? I've just written a message back. Not that she'll ever see it, but thanks, Chuck. Missed our campfire chat. Evan was here yesterday. He turned up around lunchtime, shortly after I was here. He started at Kalamunda at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's his aim to get to Brookton Highway to be picked up tonight. That's 70 odd kilometers in one day. Crazy. Descending downhill to the Darken River. Didn't even know there was a Darken River, fancy that. On the left we have Australian bush full of birds, and I can hear the occasional kangaroo in there too. To our right, dark and gloomy pine forest. No signs coming from in there at all. It's really weird. There we go. There is a Darken River. Positive proof. I discovered it. Now I've got to climb a bloody mountain. Another one of those old concrete firefighting water tanks. Not used anymore, but they're still there. Wow, that was enormous. I've just spent the last 2.4 kilometers climbing a steep hill. I'm 7 k's into the trip today, and it's the first time I've had a chance to put Bella down. She sat there playing on a log. I am absolutely shattered. Up until now I've been putting the bag down at least twice before now. So I'm either getting a lot stronger or the bag's getting a lot lighter. Probably both. Map tells me it's downhill for the next kilometre, so after a 10-minute break I'll try that. It's mid-morning now, and since as how I'm a little fella, I think I might indulge in a second breakfast. It's gone all sandy on me. Can't see against the sun. It's like walking on a beach. It's twice as hard as it should be. Okay, so for the first time on this trip I am absolutely puzzled now. I've just come out of there where the woggle on the tree tells me to go that way, where I've come from, but I have no idea where to go from here. It's definitely not down the hill, because it would have said down the hill. The guidebook keeps on going on about turning left up the hill to a lookout, which is up there, and the map itself suggests I go that way through that gate, but there are no track markers anywhere to tell me which way to go. Bella's sitting on the log over there, patiently waiting for me to make up my mind. Okay, we're good. I found it. There's a track marker hiding up in the tree up there. We go through this gate. The map was correct. These two are a little bit depressing. I wonder if they died of a heart attack coming over that hill. Probably not. Bit flippant. Sorry, Steve and Dad. There it is. Through the trees. Mount Dale Shelter. It's only been 12 k's. But even so, to see that is a relief. Not only that, but right now we're here alone. Let's see if it stays that way. Well, that's the book done again. I see that Julia and Lorraine made it here for last night. Just the two of them. Okay, it's gone 5 o'clock and the sun is starting to set. It looks like I might, at long last, have a campsite to myself, in which case I'm going to try something a bit different. Rather than setting up my tent inside the shelter or setting up my tent outside the shelter, I'm going to sleep in the shelter without the tent, which means that I shall be sleeping down in this little corner with my mattress and my sleeping bag in my thermals, virtually out in the open. And we'll see how that goes. It saves me packing up the tent, it saves me setting up the tent, but it only really works if there's nobody else here. I've got my campfire going. Keeping me warm. A little bit of laundry on the line there. That t-shirt had been on for the last 5 days. It was not looking or smelling the best, so I've just rinsed it in fresh water and hung it up to dry. And in a minute it'll be get what food I've got out for tonight, which actually isn't a lot, to be honest with you. I'm on short rations today because of my shortage of food, and then back to normal tomorrow. Mount Dale campsite is literally in the middle of the forest. I am surrounded by bush, which is all very well, but it means I can't charge my solar, which means the batteries are getting very low on everything. Having the pack, the solar charging pack on the back of Bella isn't really doing a whole lot, and I was relying on the good sun today to get some decent solar into the batteries, but that hasn't worked. So whether I use the CPAP tonight depends on how well I sleep. I might just have to go without. Mount Dale was my 6th shelter, and at long last I had the place to myself. As the sun set and the campfire died, I settled down into my cosy corner. It was quiet, dead quiet. The daytime animals were gone and the nocturnals were still asleep. Not a breath of wind to rustle the trees. I began to feel something strange, something I hadn't really expected. Lonely.